Welcome to Pagan Crafting. I'm your host, Kara. In today's video, we're going to make Druid Lanterns inspired by the popular Outlander series. Light up your ceremony practices in a special way. Enhance your pagan parties. Walk down the hand-fasting aisle with style. With these easy-to-make DIY lanterns, these will inspire you to dress up with your sisters or coven mates for beautiful photo opportunities. Join me today as we light the way, fantasy druidic style. Okay, so the supplies that we're going to need today are a 2-liter pop bottle, something to cut it with, scissors or knife, about 1-inch doweling, clothespins or paper clips. We're going to use some nice thick rope. We're going to need a silver bowl as well as some sheer white fabric. I just picked that up from the thrift store. This is some gloss Mod Podge. You can use gloss or matte. So let's just start off what we got to rock in here first. Let's cut our bottle. We're going to cut off the bottom part first. And what I've done here, I'm just going to grab my scissors and just trim it out. Just make it nice and even and nice and flush. Our next step here is our doweling. So what we're going to do with our doweling, we are going to cut it. So however you see fit here, but we're going to grab about 8 inches. And I'm going to grab 2 of them because I'm going to make 2 lanterns here for today. So you can saw those pieces however you see fit. We're going to grab 2 pieces. And I grabbed some doweling that fits into the mouth of the bottle perfectly. There isn't much space left, so I'm just figuring out how I want my handle, how much space I want between the bottle and my hands. I'm just going to mark off how far I'd like that to go into the bottle so I don't overdo and over glue. I don't want to lose my handle by putting it too far into the bottle. So laying down some hot glue, we're going to insert now the stick into the mouth of the bottle, and that's going to start off as our handle. You do want it secured pretty well. It's a pretty snug fit. I picked well when I bought that doweling stoat. And just running a quick bead along the bottom to secure it just that little bit more. So our next step here is we're going to grab our Mod Podge. You can grab white glue. I like how Mod Podge dries, so it's just a preference, but any type of white glue would do. Now this one I have already pre-mixed with water. About one part. You want it quite thin. You don't want it like a super thick on this one. dunking your sheer material in. You want to get it super drenched as saturated as you possibly can. I had glue on my fingernails and my hands for about 4 days after this. I could not scrub it off. It was so stuck on my... So maybe Mod Podge isn't your friend. Maybe just some normal white glue would be cool. But I found Mod Podge made the fabric so beautiful. So your preference, whatever you dig on. You're going to wring out the excess glue as much as you can. And there we have it. So we're going to get out what extra that I possibly can wring out. Alrighty. So now we're going to grab our bottle. This is where the fun begins. We're going to use our clothespins, or you could use the larger paper clips. So you just slowly work it around the top edges using your paper clips to secure it into place. Take your time with this, play around with it. I did find that I cut the material into a square. A rectangular would be more sufficient for this project. So a little FYI for your future material cutting. And I just worked it around. Now next what we want to do is we want to be able to kind of fold it in on itself. These little folds and things we want to hide. I don't want to see the fold mark of the pleat in there. I didn't iron it out. So I'm just going to tuck that in and slowly wrap that around the bottle itself. It's amazing how well the glue will hold this in place. Just tuck it in, roll it in. When I found I just held my hand tight at the bottom and I gave it a good twist. It gets messy, so you just got to get in there. You can wear gloves if you want, or you can enjoy the feeling of glue squishing between your fingers. It's kind of like mud. It's kind of fun. I like it. And just go back along your lantern and just kind of fiddle with it. Play with the pleats there. We're going to grab some jute twine, just some cheap twine, something you're not going to cry if you cut it off later. And just give this a couple wraps around. We're going to secure that well into place. And we do have to let this dry until the next morning. So maybe 10-12 hours it took to dry. So what I'm doing next, before I allow it to dry, this looks funny, but I'm stapling it. I watched one lady make a Druid Lantern and she kept the clothespins on overnight and it left indentations in the fabric and she was a little upset. So I'm going to staple it and I'm going to take out the staples in the morning and you won't be able to see these staple marks. All right. Next morning we are dry, we're ready to rock. I have my 2 lanterns and we have flowers. Starting off with some ferns, I'm just going to use my wire cutters to expose that and cut those off. Okay, so these little ferns are great to use because they have a little bit of wire that allow you to play with it. So you can curve them. So you just curl it around your fingers. They're quite movable and it's going to create a lovely little effect when you go to glue this on. I was gonna take the ferns a lot shorter, but I decided to enjoy the length of the fern. Running a bead of hot glue along the base of the fern. This will help make sure that it gives that little curl at the base too. So don't glue it up too high. And just a little rinse and repeat, and just work your way around with the ferns. I'm going to take all the longest leaf ones out of the batch first, and then I'm going to lay in the medium ones and then the shorter ones. I got kind of a starfish here, so I decided they needed to be curved a little bit. So I played with the design. Every second one, I glued it up to the top. Leaving the front two down, I'm going to play with those because I'm going to make that my face. But I think it gives a nice little twist flavor. And this one I just did on the one side instead of all the way around. Okay, let's start off with the red and the white one. I don't know what I'm going to use yet, so I'm just going to grab all the flowers I kind of had on hand. I like these ones. We got some red roses. I think I'm going to lean towards these because I like the longer sticks on them. They got little buds and whatnot. These were made out of little foam roses, but they look a little real, so I'm liking them, digging on them. Just working the flowers around, spreading it to the front, and I think I'm going to lay it on this one here. With making these lanterns, it's just about taking your time and just about making layers and having a good time with it. You don't have to be a professional florist or arranger to do these at all. Just grab some dollar store flowers and some dollar store ferns. You'll be able to find all of these super inexpensive. At the very most, if you don't drink pop, you're gonna have to get a friend to drink some pop. But this is a pretty inexpensive little project to do, and it's very quick to do. If you are making with your friends, what you could do is you could pre-make the lanterns and have those ready. So I would kind of pre-make with the fabric part around the bottle, and then everybody could just decorate their lanterns. Again, just having some fun with arrangement. There's no right or wrong. I'm just completely enjoying myself. It's almost a little bit of meditative when you get to make crafts or where you get to do flower arranging. I like to do an odd number when working with flowers, when working with arrangements. It's kind of a retail thing, I think. There was always like, just seeing if this would work or not. I'm not quite feeling it. Just playing around with different configurations. So I'm going to bring in some star flower shaped ones here. I think these will be nice to set off the red, kind of a little Canadian colors with the red and the white. Again, I'm just playing around with some different ideas. It didn't work out, toss that to the side. But I think these little star white flowers will be the perfect accent. I thought the little ones would do, but they didn't quite work out. And I'm going to place some of these flowers because they're very light and white over top of the lantern. I don't think it'll take away. Versus my other one, I did not do that, but I thought this would look really pretty, little escalating down the lantern. There we go, last little rose right there, I think sets it off. Building up this rose, I added a little bit more foam to it to make it larger. And honestly, it was just hiding some glue marks. That's the reason why I put that one there. Adding one more fern just for some placement. I'm going to curve these ones around, give them some flow, give them some shape. I don't feel them sticking out all the way up, so I'm going to secure these ones down. Beauty. I'm happy with it. All right, so now that we have finished our lanterns, we need to hide our top of our handle. We got glue galore everywhere here. Not only a nice way to hide it, but it's a beautiful way to finish your lanterns. Just adding beads of glue as you go along. It's going to help secure it over those glue bulges as well as the leaves and the other sticks and stuff that you've put down for the lantern. But it really will hide a lot. So just run a little bead of glue as you go along and it'll help secure that and keep that nice and tight. Especially if you have to hide a bit of your creativeness. And as you continue on down the handle, continue to run down a few little beads of glue. It'll just keep it nice and tight and prevent it from unraveling for you in the future. Securing the last little bit of rope with glue. I didn't paint over the red tip. The red tip is actually a code for what size the doweling is, but I thought it went with the red, so I left it. Go with it, play with it. Having fun with the blue one here. Just don't know what I'm gonna do, so I thought I'd just hold it up, look around. It's got some nice little eucalyptus here. I found the stem was a little bit stronger and longer, so I didn't cut it off. So I decided to wrap that around the handle and then wrap a rope around that again to hide that long stem. But I think this piece was just gorgeous. I didn't take it apart, which I planned to do, but I just thought it just looks great as is. I am going to put it on the lantern. I actually bought this for another project, but saw it, loved it, had to go with it. I'm feeling some purple needs to be added to the blue, I think, here. We have some beautiful little blue and purple numbers here to work with, and I have some, I think I'm going to use these leaves too. I found also these little purple flowers in my stash, and I'm not sure if I'll use that as an accent or not yet, but we'll play with it. I think these leaves will be beautiful. I'm going to set these 3 leaves in behind the blue flowers just to kind of punch out the blue a little bit more and offset it. Rocking in our purple accents, I think it is well needed. Yeah, I think it's quite doable. Putting a little bit longer purple flower here as it's cascading down, I think will set it off quite nicely. Oh, that'll look so pretty. I like it. Adding in some leaves and behind the blue, just to give it that extra little pop and a little bit of style. This one wound up being a lot larger than I planned to be, but when you have the 2 larger blue flowers in the front, you have to kind of balance it out. I think this would make an absolutely beautiful hand fasting ceremony piece. Imagine all the bridesmaids walking down the aisle carrying these lanterns, lighting the way for the bride. Oh, I want to get hand fasted just so I could use these lanterns, I swear. Okay, so we have our handles completed, we have our flowers done. Now what we need to do is add in lights. So what I've done here, I've just added some little dollar store $1.50 lights. I put their little battery operated on string lights. I threw them inside, and that is going to light up however you need. Obviously candles aren't going to work. Tea light LEDs are not strong enough, but the little LED string lights are going to be perfect for this and super lightweight for you. And they'll shine right through the fabric and the bottle perfectly for you. Well, thank you so very much for chilling out with me today. As always, it is a pleasure to hang out with you. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like this, please throw me down a like up and hit that bell so you know when the next video comes out. And have yourself an absolutely magical day.